It's finally here. The final chapter of Gintama. I never thought I would have to say goodbye, but here it is. This is the final chapter. How is it going to end? Why it has to end so sudden? The final chapter is out, and all I gotta say is, I cannot believe it is the final chapter of Weekly Shounen Jump. This gorilla has tricked us all to believe it's the final chapter of the series, but it's only the final chapter of Weekly Shounen Jump. Instead, it will move to Jump Giga, and from there, that's where they will complete the story 100%, just like Psyche. It's exactly the same thing. Now, we can rest, and we could be like, praise the sun, that we are getting a total, complete ending. Unless he still rush. But this gorilla is just fantastic. I cannot believe he did this to us. I cannot believe we are actually going to have an extra chapter in the future. I am so damn happy. You cannot believe how happy I was when I saw that news. It was the very first thing I saw at Reddit, and it was hard to avoid it. I didn't want to comment it because I want to act like, oh, I didn't know about the news, but I did know about the news. So, this is not the final chapter of the series. It's the final chapter to be released in Weekly Shounen Jump. Although you can argue that it is the final chapter, and we're only getting more parts of the final chapter in Jump Giga, whatever that means. But regardless, what about this chapter? How is this chapter? I cannot review this series yet because the series isn't really completed yet. Only this chapter is out, and I can only treat this as a normal chapter. But let's act like this is the final chapter. If this was the final chapter, I gotta say, even though there's no closing points to all the loose ends, the one point about the Yorozuya, the friends, everything, is grade A solid. It was wonderful. I love everything about it. It's the combination of why Gintama is such a beloved series that the fans has known since the beginning of time. This is why this is why when it really does end, I'm going to cry. I'm going to tear. I'm going to say why this series, why I had to suffer with this. And I'm so glad that not only the series is not ending, and yes, it has to end. I don't mind it ends. But it is going to end in the most satisfying way possible. At least that's what I believe. But I do think it's best off to end it at Jump Giga and not try to squeeze in. And what's fascinating to me is that Sorochi actually explained why it didn't end in Weekly Shounen Jump. And it's because they give us 6 months ahead of time. So when he does address it, that 6 month comes, that's where he has to end. Kind of gives you the idea. Maybe that's what happened to Bleach, but that's another topic for another day. Bottom line is, this is actually Sorochi's fault, but in a way you can't really blame him because it's really hard to tie all loose ends, and you know, when you have an attachment to the series that you've been working over 14 years, it's really hard to say like, I want to say goodbye here or not. I'm glad that they worked things out, and you could say Shueisha pretty much have a redemption arc by moving into Jump Giga. How funny is that? Let's talk about this chapter. I already praised enough about the chapter. As you hear me say, this was a great chapter. This was a lovely chapter because of the whole meaning of what Gintama represent. The way how the chapter starts, showing everybody that we all know of since the beginning, it's just a nostalgia trip that I can say like, yeah, this was an amazing journey. Just seeing these characters is like, damn, I could name most of the characters. Even the one that's like bystanders or secondary or far more than secondary. It's just truly amazing how Sorochi created such a fantastic cast of characters. Just a lovely family, groups, teams, whatever you want to call them. Sorochi seems like he really is passionate when it gets to the part where he gets very serious and very down to earth. The part where Kagura and Shinpachi receive old clothes of their younger self is tear-jerking. Because she's like, oh my god, we're going to close this series where everybody going back to old ways. And I know a lot of people likes the new clothing, and that's cool too. I like them too. But if you want to end it with a bang, you should have something that's nostalgia. And even if it is a stretch at times, this one is actually very fitting. just the message about the whole everybody's repairing their debts. Everybody wants to help out each other. Everybody wants to be their Yoruzuya. It's just so wonderful. And seeing like how everybody start kicking ass, which is like the same thing as the war arc, only this time there's no struggle, there's no oh my goodness, we're in a losing defeat, there's no like how we're gonna rebound this. Everybody is courage, everybody has grown strong, everybody is united. When we got to see Shinpachi and Kagura in their old uniform but in the mature look, it's rather fascinating that you could tell that Sorochi really know how to distinguish between the younger and older design. Like take Kagura for instance. It's amazing. I'm looking at Kagura. She's wearing the old uniform, but she doesn't look like a 14-year-old. She really looks mature. Her facial is really drawn well, despite what Soroji has mocked himself for having a simplistic design. But it really shows how you can tell these kids have grown up. And it's like, wow, they really are like grown up. They're like 16, 17-year-old. I'm really convinced. And needless to say, it just feels so great just to see them once more in their old uniform. And then they all have a kick-ass moment in that one page that was just awesome. Just awesome to see everybody kicking ass like the good old days. You could tell he emphasizes one single page of greatness because that's what Gintama is. It's full of greatness. And then you got this moment where the other cast of characters comes back, saving Sacha and Skuyo. And that ends up being Nobame and Zenzo. Zenzo makes his return. And I was damn happy. I was like, yes, this is it. This is everybody coming back in full circle. And it's so awesome. With Nobame, it makes it great with not only that she's back to kick ass, but then she has a radio communication that channels Soyo. Pretty much saying like, you did a great job 2 years ago. Now it's finally us to do the favor. And just seeing Kagura react is like tear-jerking. Everything about this is like such a phenomenal tear-jerking moment. It's funny because this is a final chapter. If this was the true final chapter, even though if we were to have a lot of loose ends, I would still be damn satisfied. And then maybe after 2 to 3 hours, I'll be like, we left out a lot of parts. So yeah, that would be a biased part. But you gotta admit, the delivery of the emotion in this chapter is great. And then you got the whole Shinsei Gume still kicking ass. Everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's united. No more playing around. No more playing charades. Everybody is in one place. And then you still got the whole narration about everybody's with you, Gintoki. We are together. We are going to fight together. And by the way, Kamui is definitely confirmed. Not only be the teacher that taught Kagura about the technique, but he's the one that was fighting in the last chapter as a kid. And it's funny, but yet clever of Sorochi to have Kamui disguised as a kid, not only just to say like, oh yeah, he is the one that does this technique, but he also has a morale about saving a little sister. So it's like, I'm going to mature when I finally do my duty. It's clever, it's smart, it's something Sorochi is known for, to use something that's either whack, something that's so silly, and he makes it so meaningful. And that's one thing about Gintama as well. What's also fantastic is that there's another returning character that didn't show up in the war arc, at least to my recollection, and that's Osu, the one that Shinpachi loves so dearly. Believe it or not, I love this part so much. It probably is my favorite part next to the very ending, which is pretty much a comedy, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But the whole Shinpachi and Osu moment, I thought that was lovely. I thought this is like, you know what? If we're going to get an epilogue that takes 10 years later, I do hope these two get together somehow, some way. If it doesn't happen, then so be it. But if it happens, awesome. Speaking of awesome, what makes it so awesome is the part where Shinpachi grabs a headband that pretty much is represent his otaku self. But the way how it come across with the message, especially about her song, hopefully will reach to everybody and encourage them. And then his friend Takachin, yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. I think he got a mustache now. He let her know that don't worry about if your song doesn't reach. I'm pretty sure at least one. And that one is Shinpachi. That is a hell of a way to make your friend look like a superstar. That's one hell of a way to put your friend into the spotlight to make her happy. That is so cleverly awesome. I freaking love this. And then the ending part happens. It was so cool just to see everybody kicking ass. Now there's one thing that is so weird. Is that her song, it reminds me of a Prince of Tennis song, that happened at the end, if I recall correctly. I think that's what happened at the end. And the funny thing is, I'm wondering, like, I know her songs tends to be random, but this is far too random, right? So I'm just seeing everybody kicking ass. The song lyrics is overriding the whole action scene. And then you just see a lot of craziness. And we get the idea that Zhao 3 are right near to the Altana terminal. So pretty much by the time where we get a next chapter, we will see them probably get close to Tendoshu and Shoujo, but maybe it'll be happening in the next chapter. The idea is, it has a great action scene. The song keeps on going, and now Gintoki starts to break the fourth wall so badly because why not? Prince of Tennis song is overriding the Gintama ending, and it's like, what the hell? Why the hell a Prince of Tennis song is happening in my ending? What is going on? Why the hell is it even necessary? Why is it even a good idea to the first place? Sorochi is the one that writes this story, right? So he's the one that writes these dialogue. And just reading them is exactly how we all felt. Like, how the hell we're gonna squeeze everything in? We're still fighting. We have no time. We only got a few pages left. How is this happening? How is this? What we're gonna do? How can we conclude everything? How can we finish the fight? You know what? Kasura say, screw this. How about this? We act like this is the Prince of Tennis ending, and we'd be done with that. Are you kidding me? Oh God. You know, it's sad because I actually remember that manga. I actually read the ending, and I remember there was a song like that, and I was like, a song for the ending. Never thought I'd see that, but here you go. I mean, with all due respect, you know. So yeah, that was the ending. The fact that Prince of Tennis song was happening, and I guess Prince of Tennis was overtaking Gintama. Tatsuki kind of escaped the fourth wall breaking by saying like, oh, I'm not really going to change my genre, my series. This is still Gintama. We're still fighting. But they haven't got it started yet. It's like, well, we haven't fought the final boss or anything like that. We're just right there in the terminal. So what we're going to do? Well, there's only one thing to do. Honestly, the final page got me laughing so much because they actually straight up say, our battle starts in Jump Giga. I'm like, wait a minute. You actually tell everybody, by the way, we're not ending yet because we have a lot of loose ends, and that's the final chapter. It's hilarious. This final chapter really gives the idea why it's so beloved by fans, because you got the emotional scale, you got the small drama, you got a lot of great connection from the past histories, you got action scene, and then you got the fourth wall breaking and everybody losing their composure, and just the way how the last page ended is like, well, our battle will start in Jump Giga. So yeah, we didn't really end it. And then there's an explanation about why it didn't get concluded. It's a really good read. I encourage you to read that, and you probably have already, if anything. But it's very encouraging and it's very interesting because the whole 6-month advance, it really gives you a new light and see how a lot of series differently now. Like maybe that explains why Bleach, ended very questionable for many at least. Now you could argue like, I did say I was going to end it in this month. I got a lot of loose ends. Screw this. I'm just going to rush it. Or it could be like, oh, I messed up. How can I squeeze this? So yeah, I can understand that tactic, and it is hard to try to squeeze in everything, especially when you thought yourself, maybe I should have asked for more. But I give Sorochi a huge credit to admit his fault. I give him a huge credit that he was mature, and he even joke around still by the end, but like, well, the boss has to be so cranky for me not to end this, so I can't make him angrier now. You can see why he has trouble to try to get an ending, and I do believe it's because he really has great connection with his own work. This is his first work, well, Serious Life's work, to my knowledge. I know he has a lot of one-shot. They were good too, but this is one that lasts over 10 years, and this is the one that everybody remembers the most, and everybody knows him the most, associating him the most, whatever. It's hard to argue his decision. This is why Sorochi is among the favorite mangaka according to that poll. Always placed number 1 or placed number one for the longest time. I'm not sure how long, but yeah. So yeah, this was the final chapter. It's not really the ending. It's the final chapter of Weekly Shounen Jump. Of course, I will continue reviewing when Jump Giga December issue releases. So you can bet I will review, and you could bet your ass I'm going to see it to the very end. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to see this to the very end. Now the question is, what should you do to fill in for your weekly basis? Because Gintama is going to be a monthly release or 4 months or 3 months release. I'm not sure what's the story behind that, but it's definitely not going to come in a weekly basis anymore. And I can understand that. So what are you going to do about the weekly basis? If you want to just explore the stuff in Weekly Shounen Jump magazine, you know, aside from One Piece, I know a lot of people are not into One Piece. Some people are into One Piece, so it's not really like, oh, why are you telling me this again? Because I already heard this many times. But another series I would recommend, honestly, and I'm debating if I should buy the volume. I mean, I still say you should support the release. One series that I'm really intrigued right now, and I'm really seeing a lot of great potential being utilized, which is a great thing. And that would be, well, in English name, they call it Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yabi. I hope I say that right. I probably didn't. Sorry. It's a battle series, but it's a really good one. The first part is going to be slow, but like I said, slow start wins the race. That's how I see it. It's the same thing with Gintama. It started off slow, but when you let it go, oh, it gets wonderful. So I do encourage you to try that one. And yeah, that's it. That's all for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. Of course, I will be back for the next one. Well, I cannot wait to see the full ending. Now, I'll be honest with you. There was going to be a video based on Gintama, a special video. But I'm going to hold that and work it slowly. But that's good, because I have a good time to learn about the effects, the editing, everything about it. So when the time of the real final ending releases, then I will release a new video to commemorate my passion with Gintama. I hope you enjoy it when that time comes. As for the channel itself, expect a lot of new content coming through. Will I review another series? That's in question at the moment. But right now, I'm thinking a lot of new things to do in this channel, and I hope you enjoy me for it. What do you think of the final chapter for Weekly Shounen Jump? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care. I'm coming back for December. Get ready for more Gintama.